really unexpectedly on August 12th. So it was just really mayhem in our house, and Zach was gone, obviously, that week to Simpsonville helping his family. And so I had a toddler at home and a newborn, and so thankfully my family had just come up from Florida to meet the baby, and then they flew back up when his dad passed away to come help us. And then our people, Shari and Clayton being some of them, and some of our other friends just went in rotation with bringing us food and taking our kids, and Nadia showed up at my house, and just really, it brings tears to my eyes to think about how we didn't even know what to ask of people, and they just came. And Zach, being the sweet man he is, even would, when he knew I was at home with the kids, would call people, text them, ask them to come bring me something, or take Everly out to play with their kids. But so I felt like my immediate needs were being met, and that was like the very first survival thing that had to be met. But then, a couple weeks, developed, and I just started feeling a little bit bluesy, and we just had so much happen, so I was attributing it to that. But I felt like I didn't really get to experience like the typical bring your baby home, like, oh, this is so great, we're like a family of 4, we just didn't have that experience, and I felt like I didn't get the chance to be the mom who, could just sit and have her husband go, make me hot tea or whatever, I don't know what it is, but, so anyway, but then I think I started to realize, like, I felt like he was doing things to try to have my, like, immediate needs met, but there's something that only your husband can do to meet your emotional needs. Like, for him to be able to ask me, like, how are you? What did you do today? And not just, I'm gonna take Everly and get her out so that you can just be with Dax and it'll be easier. Like, he's great at that, but there was something that I needed from him that had to do with, you see me. Like, I started to not feel seen as a person, and my emotions and the grief that I was experiencing, in everything that had happened. Does that do you feel like that? Yeah. So anyway, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah. And that's what I would say to, I don't know where each of your husbands are at, or, whoever is supporting you. I wanted to be there more. My dad, it was actually a tragic, like, drowning accident on Lake Hartwell. So it was like, not that he was sick or anything like that. It was just completely pull the rug out from under your feet, kind of thing. And so I just didn't have it. Like, I didn't have it. And so Ashley went to counseling. I feel like I'm in a place now where I can see her, where I can connect with her. But, I think it also is important. Like, I don't know where your husbands are at. I don't know what they're going through. It may not be something tragedy. What's the word I'm looking for? So anyway, like a tragedy, like, I experienced, but tragic as me. But I think that also has to be consideration. So we do that, and I was like, and so I was fully on board with her going to counseling, and it's like, Zach, aren't you a counselor? Why don't you counsel your wife? But
That would be good.
But there's some other great counselors in the area, and Ashley went to one of them, and that was what we needed. So she needed during that time, especially. But now I feel like, I'm in a place, I'm kind of out of the fog and the numbness a little bit, and so I can connect more. And so for me, I love teaching men especially how to listen, because I love us men, but we're not necessarily known for being the best listeners. We're typically known for being great or trying to be great fixers, but not great at listening. And so there are ways that we can listen better. And I think that's important to communicate that. Like, look, I just want you to listen. I just want you to put your phone down, sports game off, look me in the eyes, listen, and listen. And so, Proverbs says to answer before listening is folly and shame. And that verse punches me in the gut most times. And so for husbands, so much of what I try to encourage them and even try to remind myself is my wife wants me just to listen. Most of the time, the only time I ever give advice is when she asks for it, which is probably like 10% of the time. I don't think you really care what I think, but because you're a grown woman, you know the things that you want and everything. But if you want my advice, I give it to you. The other 90% of the time, my job is to be an expert listener. And so communicating that to your spouse, I think, is massive and goes a long way, especially if you're in one of these difficult new mom, parent, general seasons of life. So
I think that another question that's like a build up on that, how can you connect with your husband again during the struggle or season in life? I think one way that you can almost teach your husband to listen is to also ask him how he's feeling about the child, the baby, about everything that's going, about all the changes. You have to get, so just like we want our husbands to hear how we're feeling, we have to really like strap up our like seatbelt and get ready to hear what he's saying, because he has experienced a lot of change too. And so if he says, I'm jealous, like you have to understand that feeling that he's having. It's not an indictment to you. It's something he's feeling. So we can't be defensive about it. So if our husbands are jealous of our kids or our time or our affection, we have to say, okay, I get it. And not be like, well, I'm here all day, That's not listening. So if we want to connect, we have to give them the opportunity to say how they're feeling too, because their whole life has been changed as well. It's just, we don't feel like it's changed quite as much sometimes. And so I think, tell him how life is changing for you, but then like, give him the floor and listen to him.
Yeah, because when she did ask me that, and I felt like I was able to express, I feel like we were like single parents in the same household. I was like, I feel like I'm Evie's parent and you're Dax's parent. And, I don't like that, because we're a family. We're a package deal here of 4. And so I was able to express that because she asked me.
Or if it's a mother or mother-in-law that's trying to help you, let her say, you bark orders at me. Or I feel like my ways, you don't like the way that I do things. And I don't know how to help you because I'm just trying to help and I don't do the same things the same. And you have to listen. Like you have to listen to what they're saying, because I know that you're stressed out, but they're trying to help. So they can't help you if they feel like you're at odds, So I think it's just, I know you're having to listen and give all the time. I get it. But like, if we're gonna bond with someone else while we're trying to take care of kids, we have to like give them the opportunity to let us know who they are, who they're becoming, how they're feeling. Let them in on it rather than you taking all of that weight. You gotta let them in so that they can take weight too. Because I think sometimes we just keep the weight. Here's a really practical question. How do you practice being patient with your whining kids when all you want to do is curl up in a corner and cry? So my first advice is maybe you need to curl up in a corner and cry for a little while. I know one time, Clayton was out of town. I said this. I did go in a closet and cry. And then he came home and he's like, where's Mama? I knew he was coming, so I knew I had like 10 minutes. And I could just go in there, and they weren't gonna like kill each other. And so I was in there and Clayton came home. He's like, where's your mom? I heard him. And they're like, we don't know. And so they followed him through our bedroom and through the bathroom. Clayton opens the door and I'm in the closet crying. And they're like, Mama, what are you doing? And I'm like, y'all are driving me crazy, And I've been really open and honest with my kids to be, I've just said, I need a break. Even when I'm like now, if I'm upset or I snap at them, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I'm a human too though, can you forgive me? And so allowing yourself to be vulnerable like that, I think is a really great way to have a relationship with your kids. But 3 tricks that I did, I reminded myself of their age when I was frustrated. This child is 2 years old. He's been on the earth for 2 years. You have been on the earth for 20-something years. He's not going to act like you because he's not you, number one, and he's only 2. You know, like I have to tell myself that. I know it, but I had to tell myself, he's 5. He's a boy. He's crazy. He rolls around the kids at preschool because that's what he loves to do. And even though the teacher tells you every day he got in a fight again, it's probably going to happen tomorrow. You know, like that's what he's doing. And so remind myself of their age. Sometimes I just would take a breath and refuse to correct my kids. So I think sometimes you're just always trying to correct their behavior and forgetting about like most of parenting is like really shepherding their hearts. I know you're probably like, oh gosh, sorry, don't say that because I have to say no. I get it, say no, but sometimes like just let them misbehave and don't feel like you have to police it all because man, seriously, I mean, in the store, they're just gonna grab those cans off the shelf and they're gonna fall. And if you're like, stop, 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 stop. I mean, sometimes you just pick up the can and you put it right back on and you just keep going, you know? So figure out when you really need to correct and when you need to just let it go. And then